I'm here with Margaret Byrne. Now, she's the director of Raising Bertie, and it's an independent film that I had a chance to view, definitely in part, and I caught some good parts of it, and we wanted to talk to her about the film. So, Margaret, thank you for joining us on the show.
I know a lot of you have challenges in your lives right now that can make it hard to focus on your schoolwork. But at the end of the day, where you come from, how much money you have, there is no excuse for not trying.
They thought I was gonna drop out of school, but I know I can learn.
I love the preacher, but I ain't want to stay on the farm the rest of my life.
I don't want to ever be looked down on. Ever.
Once I play football, I'm hoping my daddy come to my games.
You cannot allow these folks to take our program from us.
I believe in myself.
I believe in myself.
And my ability to do my best.
And my ability to do my best.
I am intelligent.
I am intelligent.
I am capable of greatness.
I am capable of greatness. 1, 2, 3.
Lord God, we come today praying for this family.
What in the world is going to happen to these boys? Have we given them the tools to be able to survive without getting into trouble?
Thanks for having me.
So, Margaret, what inspired you to create the film Raising Bertie, and also, where did the name come from?
Well, Bertie is the name of the county, and it was, it's about raising young men. So, Raising Bertie, that's where the title came from. Originally, I came to Bertie County in 2009, and it was actually for a job. I was shooting a short video for Vivian Saunders, who's the executive director of the Hive. She was winning an award, so I was shooting a video for her. And my partner and I, John Stuyvesant, who's the DP on the film, we had gone down there and just saw that there's a much larger story to be told here, and that there weren't many stories being told about rural America, in particular about Black rural America. And that's when I decided that I wanted to make a film. And this is actually my first film. So.
Oh, well, definitely congratulations. Yeah, because I remember one of the young men had a Bertie tattoo on him. And now the thing is, I saw in that film that, it would just really seem impoverished communities. Now, is that kind of an area that's, really struggling financially with jobs, or is that kind of where we're going with that?
Yeah, I think Bertie is not unlike a lot of communities, rural communities throughout the country, struggling economically. Their largest employer now is Purdue Chicken. They had, manufacturing that has left the community, like the Wrangler plant. Bud's mom used to work for the Wrangler plant. Now she works for Purdue. The second largest employer is the school system. So, and the third largest employer is the prison. So you can see there's not a whole lot of opportunity in Bertie. Right now, Day Day is working at Purdue, and Bud and Junior both work at Smithfield, which is about a 3-hour. It's about a 3-hour trip for them to go out of state to work at a food processing plant. So there's not a lot of opportunity out there.
So, and the people she's referring to is people that's actually in the movie itself. But you said that the manufacturing job. So what you're saying is basically people that live in towns like Bertie that's complaining a lot about manufacturing leaving. So basically, if the manufacturing isn't there, then they have no way to eat. Correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at it, the business that came in after the Wrangler plant left was the prison, and so I think that's also, you know, an issue that you see in the film is that all of these guys have somebody that they're close to that's serving time in prison. And that's become their reality.
So how many cities is the film's going to open up in?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think about 12. Yeah, and if you, yeah, about 12 cities. We're opening in New York tomorrow at the Maisels Theater in Harlem. And then next week, I know we open in Chicago, San Francisco, LA. Yeah, there's a pretty long list. I think there's about 12 cities.
Okay, and what are the impact are you expecting to make with this film in the 12 cities that you're showing them in?
I mean, I think it's just important to talk about these communities. I think particularly, you know, with this election and this new president, you know, people have talked a lot about white rural America, and you realize that when people talk about rural America, they are relating it to whiteness. But in reality, 20% of rural America are people of color. So I think that their stories and their voices are important. And I'm just grateful that I have an opportunity to share their stories.
It's great that you're doing that because, you know, those stories aren't getting out. And like you said, the narrative was, you know, the hurting white rural worker. That's what they kept speaking about during the election. But, you know, I come from an area that's not from the city, and you have a lot of rural black Americans who's, you know, living kind of similar to what I saw in the movie. I like to say, wow, I remember some people in East Texas living like that, you know. Yeah. So
and it's a perspective. You have a perspective I think a lot of people that I've met across the country don't have. I think a lot of people see this film and they don't realize that people are living this way in this country.
Oh yes. Like I said, what I saw in the film was nothing different than what I saw with some people back home, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They're in a small town. They don't really go anywhere. They don't really see anything outside of that area. And it's amazing that they'll stay in those kind of areas like Bertie their whole lives and don't get out. And it just, so that's why I say I saw a lot of similarities to maybe some of the areas that I came from.
And you know, I think they don't want to leave. I think a lot of people, where they come from, their home, they don't want to leave. You know, that's their home. Junior, Bud, and Day Day, they all still live in Bertie, and they don't have plans to leave. There's a scene in the film when they're at the Hive where they go visit. They go on a college tour, and you realize when you see them that this is not something that's in reach for them, that this is far too late in the process for them to be introduced to this idea of college. But there's also, you know, to expect all these young men to go to college isn't the only measure of success. I think for them, you know, they're becoming leaders in the plants, and to them that is a huge success. So there are other opportunities for them that I think, you know, Junior, for example, who's a main character in the film, he has such an amazing skill set. He rewired the electric in his house, ran the plumbing, fixes his own car, has all these skills, yet he's working at Smithfield, which is the pork processing plant in Virginia, because it takes you know, a mentor to show you how to run a business. How do you get into that field, you know?
Yeah, I agree. You sound like that he was what we would call a shade tree mechanic when it comes to cars, because, you know, we know a guy like that in our neighborhood always, a couple of guys.
Yeah.
They tell you just get the part and give me a pack of beer and I'll fix it for you.
Right, right.
and they actually do a better job than some of these mechanic shops.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely can relate to definitely people like that. You know, so many people in those communities do have a lot of skills, and in this country they teach that go to college, but not everybody's college material, and it's okay to get a good trade. I tell people that get a trade if you don't want to go to college.
Yeah.
Because some trades make more money than some college degrees.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So how can people watch Raising Bertie for those who are curious about wanting to see the film?
Well, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. On Facebook, we have all our screenings. So we'll be opening this Friday. In June, we'll be opening in about 12 different cities. And we will be releasing the film on iTunes digitally in the coming weeks. And then we'll have our broadcast on PBS on POV August 28th.
Okay, so everyone, make sure you go to the Raising Bertie Facebook page. Check out if they have any screenings in your area, and go check it out. So, Margaret, thank you for joining us on the show today, taking up your time in between going to your screening that you have in New York, and that one's coming up in Harlem, correct?
Yep. About an hour away now, so almost.
All right, so I'll make sure to let you go and get to that. Those of you in Harlem, check it out. And Margaret, thank you for your time.
Great, thanks so much.